I received a debt letter from Centrelink just before Christmas. It was $11,870. I have been very diligent in keeping receipt numbers and so forth that Centrelink provides you with when you're notifying them of your income and so forth. So I was lucky to have kept some receipts, although the person at Centrelink that I spoke to said that I hadn't recorded any income for 7 years, which I said was not, that wasn't correct. I also said that I hadn't worked from 2010 January to 2011 January because my son was born that year, and I was told that they would have to investigate that as well. I'd spoken to them several times and was told the only way to rectify the situation was to get these 7 years worth of pay slips, even though the chap that I spoke to on the second time I contacted Centrelink about it said he could see several errors in what had been recorded, but I had no way other than the pay slips to prove that. So I contacted Andrew's office, and overnight I had a phone call from Centrelink the next day, and they then suggested my debt had reduced to $6,100, and I was asked if I'd be comfortable with that amount, and I said certainly not. I know that I've given all the information I need to, and I'm not happy wearing a debt of any amount. However, they've already started to take the payments back out of my Centrelink payment, and I had no choice. And when they're taking over $250 a fortnight out of your payment, that's not a lot to manage your budget on.
So how are they saying that you've accumulated this debt?
Well, first of all, they told me that over the first 12 months, which was 2010-2011, that because I worked part of that year, they averaged out my income because I hadn't reported any income. And I said to them, well, I didn't need to because I wasn't working, I was on maternity leave. Harrison, my youngest son, was born at 29 weeks, so I didn't go back to work until my full 12 months was up on maternity leave. So they'd just averaged it out and assumed that I was working when I wasn't. And I also had, I can't remember which year, but I had some money come to me through Fair Work because I had to challenge an employer on getting my proper entitlements, and Centrelink hadn't recorded that I'd already paid the money for that debt previously, and they'd added that on. So I'm still not sure how they arrived at the $6,100, but I've asked for that to come in writing.
So it says mistake after mistake.
Mm-hmm.
How has it affected your life?
Well, it's very difficult to budget on, that much money being taken out. I have to say, when their debt arrived at Christmas time, I was just beside myself, and just thought I just have to put it aside till after Christmas and then try and get the necessary paperwork. But it's certainly been very stressful, and when you're a single parent and you're trying to work and run a home and deal with children, it's not an easy task, and Centrelink are a very difficult place to deal with. I suggested to them 7 years was a long time, and particularly seeing as my tax had already been reconciled each year, and that wasn't enough.
How many payslips have you given them?
None at this stage. I've contacted 2 of the employers to ask for those, and I'm still trying to decipher where I get the information from the business that no longer exists. But that's going to take some time, and in the meantime they just continue to take the payment.
Have you heard any update from Centrelink since up to date or anything?
No. Nothing further, only the halved debt for no apparent reason. But yes, I'm still continuing to pay that fortnightly now.
So how long do you think this will go on for?
Well, I certainly intend to do my very best to get the pay slips and have it re-looked at, but who knows, with 20,000 letters going out a week, who knows how long this will take, and the stress, and I mean, some people just aren't able to look into this themselves and wouldn't know where to start, and I just think it's horrendous for those people. I mean, it's not fun for me either, but at least I've got somewhere to start, and I'm certainly not going to wear the $6,000 debt that I don't believe I owe.
We've now lost count of the number of people who have approached my office. It's now in the hundreds from right around Australia. Andrea's story is not unusual. It is not unusual to hear from someone who is absolutely confident they've done the right thing in the past and do not owe Centrelink anything, but they're terribly rattled, often scared. They're finding that some of them are just starting to pay the money back because they just don't know what else they can do. And you know, this story here is very helpful because it illustrates how it goes back so far, the businesses don't even exist anymore. The program started last year, I think, well, in the second half of last year. But it was in the lead up to Christmas where we got a lot of approaches, and are still getting a lot of approaches. There can be no doubt that this system is flawed. No doubt that it must be suspended immediately, that everyone who has received a letter already should get another letter saying take no further action until we fix our system, and then they come up with a system where they are not knowingly sending out 4,000 incorrect letters a week. And to make this all the more distasteful and hurtful is at a time when so many politicians are being revealed to have rorted the system.